Truth is, a lot of drummers that do not like playing with loops run away from playing with loops because it restricts them from being reckless with their tempo and reveals their inability to maintain a solid tempo and play their part in the music. So I've gotten a crazy amount of requests to make this video, and today I'm making this video to satisfy everyone that has been requesting for it. So you see, this topic of playing with loops, it's not too difficult, but at the same time it can be a big deal. But today I'm going to give you some pro tips that are going to guide you and help you play with loops flawlessly. So the first thing you need to do when it comes to playing with loops is a mindset shift. So most times we see loops as just one rigid piece of, a component of the music that is annoying for the people that do not like it. But I want you to see loops as something else. When you listen to a loop, most times, what do you hear? In many cases, I'm talking about the African kind of loops right now. We have like a 3-2 clave that is ka 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 ka, or a 2-3 clave ka 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 ka. You see? So that's always in most loops. Then you can have like a conga. So if the 3-2 clave is, conga can be, it's not going to sound like this, but in your loop you always have, then you have like shakers. So when all those things are playing in the loop, I want you to stop seeing it as, a robot or just one random thing. See it as human beings are playing those things live. If we are to have all these instruments, like we have the conga, we have the shakers, we have someone playing the clave pattern, we will need a loop. Do you understand? So now what do you need to do when you are playing with a loop like that? What you need to do is, now you have to complement and not interfere. What do I mean by that? We have a loop pattern that already has something like this. If you listen to that same loop and you start playing the same pattern that's present in the loop, your drum is not going to be felt. Like it's going to look like you're not doing anything. So most times we complement by adding things that are not present in the loop. So I'll use some loops to explain what I just said now. So if you listen to that loop I was playing to, you could still hear my drums outside what was going on. There were shaker patterns, there were a little bit of conga here, there was something that sounded like the bell of a cymbal. So I was trying not to interfere with any of those things, but I was playing a groove that stood, it was complementing what the loop was doing, not standing out from the loop. Do you understand? Now this doesn't just apply to African grooves, like African loops. I'm going to try to explain this with a normal HighLife groove. I'm going to try with a rock loop. I'm going to try to play to all these things, and then you can take the grooves I'm playing as samples that you can use to play to if you are learning how to play with loops. So like what I was saying earlier on, if you're listening right now, you can hear there's a pattern that is doing. So if I was to repeat that same pattern, it's going to get lost in the loop. It's nice, but it doesn't change the fact that it can be better. So still on this topic of loops, I believe you're enjoying the loops I'm using to demonstrate all these things I'm showing you today. If you love those loops and you want to get loops to practice in your practice session, I have a loop pack that I made specifically tailored towards drummers and musicians, and you can use it to practice. You can check out the link in the description of this video. So just go check and you'll find it. It's the best loop you find anywhere on the internet. Go check it out. So this is like a contemporary loop, more like a rock groove. What is very common in churches these days? So you can have songs like, Creator of the universe, what can't you do? What can't you do, Jesus? So in songs like this, when you have a loop like this going on, if you notice, the loop is already in. I feel like this one is even easier to play with because it doesn't have anything that is distracting. Do you understand? So you just play on normal thumb grooves. So you see, playing with loops has multiple benefits, and one of the benefits is, most times loops have a specific BPM, that's beats per minute, a tempo that you are on. And this thing helps a lot because a lot of drummers have issues with being able to keep their tempo. I made a post one time and I asked, do you enjoy playing with loops or not? And so many people were like, they do not enjoy playing with loops. And now this is not to interfere with your preferences, but a lot of times people do not like loops because it doesn't let them be reckless. Like I said in the intro of this video, it doesn't let them go reckless. It doesn't let them, change the tempo whenever they feel like. The loops keeps you in check. Do you understand? And lets you understand what it means to play your part, because you can't be playing the drums and be doing all the percussion. The drums is just like the chief percussion instrument. There are other percussive instruments also. Do you understand? But primarily keeps you in check on tempo. Now, understand that I'm not saying you must always play to loops, because there's also a negative side of playing to loops. Play with loops too much and then you lose the sense of being able to play on your own without loops. Do you understand? So there's a balance to these two things. And one of the challenges that a lot of drummers experience that they do not know is the reason they are struggling with playing with loops is something that most of your pro drummers will not tell you. And it's because you do not have in-ears, or you don't have the loop as loud as it should be. Now, whenever you're playing in an event or playing anywhere, you have to make use of loops. Understand that it is percussion and it's driving the whole music. So it has to be at a particular pace. Now, if you can't hear the loop while it's playing, chances are very high that you will run faster than the loop. And if you're doing that, you have messed up that performance. If it's a live recording, you've messed up that recording. Do you understand? So that's the reason why you see people have in-ears. And in the in-ears, it's always advisable you have the loop at a volume where you can hear it very comfortably. Not extremely loud for the sake of your hearing, but make sure it's loud enough that you can hear it most times more than every other thing. Do you understand? So it's very important to put that into... Now, even if you can't get in-ears, make sure there's a speaker around you that the loop is quite loud on that speaker. But there's a second side to this thing now. Because there's also chances that you could have in-ears and you could have the loops playing out very loud and you're still making mistakes. What is causing that is absence of practice. So take your time, pick up a loop in your practice session. Try to learn or come up with grooves that complement that loop. For every loop, there are different grooves that work with it. Like if you saw today, in the Amapiano loop I played to, I didn't play the same kind of groove with the African HighLife groove I played to. Loop I played to, Do you understand? So it's very important to practice with these things and know what works and what doesn't work. So you don't come out on stage and you're trying to do experiments on stage. Do you get? With all these tips and tricks I've shown you today, I believe that playing with loops is no longer going to be a nightmare for you. Just put all these things to work. Practice. Don't forget. Consistently practice these things and you'll see some very good results. I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.